Okay, well, today we're back with not really the first one of the Sports House Media podcast. Okay, so we're going to go through NFL stuff basically. So, the week recap, power rankings, teams that I'm high or low on, just lots of NFL news in general, and predictions for next week and the best matchups so I can give the best info for y'all. Okay, so the first thing that we have going today is we're going to go look at the week 3 recap. Okay, so we've got the Thursday night. We had the Dolphins versus the Jags. Okay, this was honestly just a matchup with Fitzmagic versus Gardner Minshew. Okay, and Fitzmagic won the battle. I mean, this Fitzmagic threw 20 passes, I think, was 18 for 20. I mean, you can't get that much more efficient, and the Dolphins looked pretty good on offense there against the Jags. I mean, against the Jags defense that's supposed to hold them to a couple points. So the Dolphins look better than I think a lot of other people thought after losing to two good teams in the first 2 weeks. And that Dolphins defense held up. I mean, they just played really well. The Jags O line just could not do anything, and basically that's how the game went. I mean, uh, Fitzpatrick's playing good football right now. He's kind of just getting the team ready for Tua. I think that this team's having a lot of fun, just because they know that. I mean, especially Fitz knows that his job is going to be done soon. Tua is going to take the reins at some point. So I think that it's very good that he's showing Tua how to become a better quarterback, because I think Tua could be really, really good soon, especially on an up and coming Dolphins team. Um, and that game went 31-13 Miami. Next, we had the Lions versus the Cardinals. I mean, this was probably one of the biggest upsets of the week. I mean, I don't think anybody went in was like, "Oh, the Lions are going to win this one." The Lions look pretty damn trash first 2 weeks. Um, Kyler Murray. It was the first time we've seen any defense really get to Kyler Murray that bad. I mean, 3 picks for Kyler Murray. I mean, you can't win games whenever your quarterback's turned the ball over 3 times. It's pretty hard. And they honestly made it a close game because the Lions aren't very good. But um, there's some good things coming out of this game for the Lions. I mean, obviously they beat a 2-0 team. Okuda had his first interception. But the Cardinals can look back and say, hey, D-Hop had a great day. And Kyler Murray is a quarterback that's not going to do that often, okay? He is going to come back next week and he's going to throw 5 touchdowns. That's probably what's going to happen, okay? Let's be honest. And I think the Cardinals are going to bounce back. And I just don't know what to expect from the Lions. I mean, they win 26-23 on a last-second field goal, beat a good team, and I guess they lose to 2 undefeated teams before that. But I mean, I don't really believe in the Bears that much, but still, very big upset for the Lions. Huge for Matt Patricia especially. Then we go to the Bears versus the Falcons, a game everybody's honestly been talking about because of the quarterback switching. Okay, I mean the Falcons. I mean that's the quarterback switching, but the two themes here are Nick Foles is the best backup quarterback the league has ever seen, maybe other than Teddy Two Glove, and then the Falcons giving up back-to-back weeks of 2 15-point leads. I mean, that's just got to sting. I mean, as a Falcons fan, watching your team get up 15 points, you're like, okay, I'm good. I don't even have to watch anymore. And then look at the score later, and damn, lost it again. Last week with the Cowboys, the toughest, just a tough onside kick that if they were coached better, they probably would have known to hop on it. Um, yeah, the Falcons giving up big numbers, and honestly should be 2-1. I mean, if they make a couple plays, they're 2-1. I mean, you got to hand it to the Bears. The Bears have been able to make these comebacks. Nick Foles coming back, throws an interception that really honestly could have gone either way. Maybe it wasn't an interception or so. And then throws 3 touchdowns. Takes the dub against the Atlanta Falcons. I mean, that is just, what a comeback. It's crazy that I think it was a bold move to bench Trubisky. I think that Nagy was looking for anything to bench Trubisky, honestly, because the guy's undefeated. That's what you have to think about, is that how bad do you have to be at quarterback, or how much does your coach have to hate you at quarterback to bench you at 2-0? There's not very many quarterbacks, or coaches, that will bench their quarterback at 2-0. It just doesn't happen. Bears won that one 30-26. I mean, Bears are 3-0. You know, Chicago's getting it done. I know there's a lot of Chicago people out there, but I'm not on the hype train yet. We'll see. We'll see. Once they beat a real good team, then I'll look. But the next one we got is the Rams versus the Bills. Okay, Josh Allen. That's really the story of this one. I mean, Josh Allen is looking like an MVP almost. He is carrying this Bills team with a good defense. The running game honestly isn't there like it used to be. Okay, it's not. Devin Singletary is not putting up the numbers that he used to, but they're still getting it done. They're getting it done against a good Rams defense. That's the thing, is that they're beating good teams. I mean, the Bills are just looking in form. They're playing their best football. Obviously, another storyline of this game is the referees were something else. I mean, there's lots of calls that could have gone either way. The interception, the last second stuff. I mean, it's just tough. It's tough. It's tough. It's tough. I mean, can't blame the refs, but the Rams are definitely doing that a little bit. You know, and Darrell Henderson and Cooper Kupp are a lot to look forward to as a Rams fan. I mean, Darrell Henderson is really showing out. And Cooper Kupp, honestly, I didn't believe that much into Cooper Kupp before the season, but now, I mean, again and again and again, he proves me wrong. So I'm gonna have to start believing in that guy. Cooper Kupp is a beast, and the Rams defense is just didn't have the weapons to contain the Bills. Like, they should be able to do that. I mean, if you look at the Bills' offense, yes, they have Cole Beasley. They do now have Stephon Diggs, who, I mean, is pretty damn good. But, I mean, the running game, it's It's been Josh Allen. It's been the Josh Allen show, let's be honest. And he's getting it done there in Buffalo, and they're going to take that game 35-32. Bills win. Next game, we got the Washington football team versus the Cleveland Browns. Okay, so, I mean, I was on the Washington football team hype first week. I see him beat the Eagles. I'm like, oh my God, this could be the winner of the NFC East. Screw the Cowboys. Washington football team could do it. You know, obviously that's not the case. They took a little skid here. And this game, Baker Mayfield showed that he had the weapons, and Dwayne Haskins did not know how to run his offense. Dwayne Haskins didn't have that great of a game. And after that first game in Washington, it's kind of just fizzled. But the Browns are still a mid-tier team that's going to beat up on these little guys. You know, it's kind of their MO. Is that they beat up on the little guys, they can't beat the big guys. I'd like to see the Browns go out and beat a big team, especially with the weapons they have. I think they need to use Odell more, get everybody more involved. Baker needs to show that he's not just Johnny Manziel 2.0. And the Browns' offense did what they were supposed to do that game. They were supposed to score a lot of points against the Washington defense, and Browns winning that 134-20. Ooh, the next we got Titans-Vikings, which obviously all this stuff came out afterwards about Corona and everything. We'll talk about that later, but Derrick Henry, man, he is just the workhorse for the Titans. There's not very many teams left, you know, that use just that one solid back, but the Titans do it really well. I mean, why go away from it? Everybody's going to this 2 running back, 3 running back system. I mean, you look at the 49ers, they have like 10 running backs. Derrick Henry's doing it by himself, and he's leading this Titans team to another playoff run, honestly. And they're going to beat a Vikings team that's struggling. I mean, Kirk Cousins didn't do too well, you know? I mean, there's Kirk Mobile, he is struggling up there in the north. 0-3, not having the best games. The Vikings are last in the NFC North. I think there's a lot of people that put them at second place or before the season. You know, they had the Packers first, obviously, and then the Vikings. Now the Vikings are 0-3, and I'm not sure if they can come back from that. They have a good team. They just lost a lot of people on defense, so they're giving up so many points now. Kirk Cousins isn't finding Thielen. Thielen's a top 10 wide receiver probably in the NFL. Can't find him. Kirk Mobile is just not getting it done right now, and the Vikings need to win next week to have any shot at the playoffs, honestly. Because if not, this seems like their season is done. Raiders, Patriots. Okay, this is the game where, you know, the Raiders kind of had to show if they were that team that could actually beat real good teams or if they weren't. And they kind of showed that, yes, they have a decent team, but they're not good enough to beat a guy like Bill Belichick and the Patriots, Cam Newton, you know. And the thing is, both quarterbacks didn't really play that great. It's really the Patriots' defense that outplayed the Raiders. I mean, they played the biggest role in the Patriots win. And let's get down to it. Josh Jacobs needs to have more carries. Derek Carr cannot do it by himself. He's a great quarterback. I think he's a franchise quarterback. It takes a while for some teams to find that. I think they could win a championship with Derek Carr. I think it's possible. But Josh Jacobs is really, really good, and they need to give him the ball more. They can't have Derek Carr throw that many times. And the Patriots are looking really strong. They're going to be battling with the Bills for that first place in that division, and that's going to be very exciting to see them play. But I'm not sure if I believe in the Raiders yet, especially in the tough division they play in. But we'll see. But they're gonna, if they put on the gas, keep going, I think they could be a good team and could make the playoffs. But Patriots win this one 36-20. 49ers Giants. I mean, there's not that much to say about this one. The 49ers had, 9 starters out? Something like that? No, yeah, 9 starters. The Giants are now competing with the Jets for the worst team in football. I mean, I don't think that they're even close to how bad the Jets are, I guess. But Daniel Jones, without a running back, without an O-line, I mean, what do you do? What do you do? You can't be mad at him. Nick Mullins, backup quarterback, got the job done. It's beautiful. 49ers just basically gave their guys rest. Say, hey, Nick Mullins, take the reins. He got it done. Hopefully the Niners get their team back because they could be a real force in the NFL, I think. With the scheme that they play, and just, the full offense that they run is, they can hit you from everything. They got running backs, tight ends, wide receivers. They got it all. So they're a very fun team to watch. I hope that they get their guys back, but the Giants are looking pretty terrible. They are competing with the Redskins for the last place in NFC East. I mean, let's be honest. Because without Saquon, you can't ask that team to do anything. Bengals, Eagles. I mean, we're just going from bad football to bad football. We're talking about the Giants. Now we go to the Bengals or the Eagles. I mean, this game is tough because the Bengals have promise. I mean, you look at that offense. You see Joe Mixon. I mean, you see a semi-hurt A.J. Green all the time. You got, T. Higgins now. Tyler Boyd. Tyler Eifert, right? And weapons on weapons on weapons for Joe Burrow. I think Joe Burrow is going to be a great quarterback, but right now he's not getting it done. I mean, it's his first couple games. I think he shows promise, but that offense could be elite. I believe that Bengals offense could be elite. But they went up against Carson Wentz, who's looking not that great this year. He's not the Carson Wentz that everybody said he was going to be. They didn't say, remember when people said Carson Wentz was going to be way better than Dak Prescott? I used to think that. I used to think that probably till last season. Carson Wentz is a great franchise quarterback. I'm not sure anymore. Dak's winning games, Carson isn't. Let's just say that. And honestly, Bengals should have got the W. But I mean, it's just tough because it seems like both teams just, then the OT, it was tough to watch because Doug Peterson, I mean, I'm pretty sure they all saw that where instead of throwing the ball up or even letting your kicker try to kick a 60-yarder, he's going to punt the ball. He doesn't believe in Carson Wentz. And he doesn't believe in the offense. And that team is going to go back to the locker room after that and know that their coach did not believe that they could do it. That's real tough for the Eagles, especially after they're already playing so bad. The Cowboys basically have a cakewalk to take the NFC East. They could win that division at 7-9, honestly. So let's look at the next one. Ooh, Texans and Steelers. This is a game that I thought the Texans would bounce back in, but I mean, I don't think I underestimated how good James Conner was and Big Ben. Big Ben is legend. He's always going to be good. But Deshaun Watson is just trying to lead a team, but he just led a team into beatdown the first 3 weeks. I mean, it's a tough life. They had a crazy hard first 3 games. But if you're a Texans fan, especially after the offseason where they made these sus trades, right? Sus trades. You have to win at least one of those games. You have to. If you don't, now they're sitting at 0-3. And 0-3 doesn't look too good for the playoffs. It's tough for the Texans because I thought they could win one of those 3 games. And it's tough for morale, I think, to watch yourself get beat by 3 good teams and know that those are the teams that are going to be in the playoffs. You have to beat those teams. Texans look like they've regressed from last year. and they can still make it if they turn their stuff around, turn their season around. But it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough for sure. And Big Ben just doing what he does, sharing the ball, getting the job done, handing off to James Conner, and doesn't have to do too much. Just playing good football in Pittsburgh. Jets versus Colts. Now here you have the worst team in football. I mean, just by far. I heard Dan Orlovsky, former quarterback of the Lions, talking about how his team could beat his 0-16 team could beat the Jets right now, like kill them. I mean, I don't know why he's talking like that because that's not an accomplishment, but the Jets are pretty tough. Okay, they are a rough team right now. I mean, I keep hearing talk about Clemson beating them, and I never even thought before. I'm like, oh, there's no way. These guys are NFL players. There's no way a college team. It's possible. I think it's possible. The Jets, they're awful. Let's face it. They're ruining Sam Darnold's career. The Colts look good, in my opinion. I think Phillip Rivers coming to the Colts is great. I think that him leaving the Chargers, he was never going to win a championship with Chargers, let's be honest. But Colts looking good. I think they look pretty good. Even losing Marlon Mack, Phillip Rivers can get it done. They have a pretty good defense, I think, so they should be able to get it done for the rest of the season. Panthers, Chargers. Oof. I got a lot of friends that are Chargers fans, and this is a tough one for them to watch. You go last week, right? They played the Chiefs real tough. I mean, so tough. And you're like, damn, is this team like really gonna compete in the AFC? And then you come out and they lose to the Panthers, to Teddy Two Glove, and there's some good takeaways for the Chargers. I mean, Herbert has some passes where I'm like, damn, he looks like a great quarterback. He's threading the needle. But some of the time, he is just so inconsistent. He is just throwing terrible passes. I think that I'm glad that Keenan Allen had a good game. We've been waiting for that for the first 2 weeks. And, the Chargers need to run the rock more. I think Austin Eckler coming back will be good for them. And they need to run the ball, play good defense, which I know they can do. But I know the Panthers are good on offense, but that Panthers defense, they just got to score more. They can't just score 16 points against the Panthers defense. It's just, I don't know about that. Teddy Two Glove, getting it done, turning it around for the Panthers. We'll see how that goes. I mean, I think these two teams, it's going to be tough for both of them to make playoffs, especially in the divisions they're in. They're both in very tough divisions. So, Buccaneers, Broncos. Another week where the Buccaneers are trying to show that they are a really good team. After the Saints loss, Tom is trying to show that he can do what Tom Brady did in the Patriots. Buccaneers defense is looking great. Making it easy for Tom, honestly, with 6 sacks. 3 touchdowns for Tom, which is real good. And you just can't trust Jeff Driscoll to get it done. Okay, I know that. I know. Trust me. And you just can't. You can look at this game and be like, okay, Jerry Jeudy's getting it done. Jerry Jeudy is looking pretty good. It's a great first-round pick for them. I think that he's going to be a great asset to that team, but them losing Drew Lock was devastating for that team. Just absolutely devastating. Buccaneers win 28-10. Ooh, next we have the Cowboys and the Seahawks. Okay, so the Cowboys played this game a lot closer than I thought they would. Why I say that is that I didn't really believe in the Cowboys, especially after the Falcons game. I don't think the Falcons are that good, and I think that they should have played better defense against the Falcons. I mean, their defense was nowhere near as bad as it was last year as it is now, right? That defense was a lot better last year, I think, and they're trying to get it together. But they played a really close game with the Seahawks, especially with Russell Wilson being one of the best quarterbacks in the league right now. I'd say Russell Wilson's probably top 3. Looking like a goddamn MVP out there. Zeke has to do better. I mean, Russ had 5 touchdowns, I think, and he would have had 6 if it wasn't for DK Dropcalf, and that is just devastating for the Seahawks. It made the game a lot closer, but DK is going to learn from that, and I think that they got a real good duo, and I mean trio really with, I mean, quattro. I mean with Chris Carson, Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf, and Russell Wilson thrown to you. I mean, that's a good offense. That's a good team. They don't need the Legion of Boom with that offense. I'll tell you that right now. The Dallas can't turn the ball over as much. They can't do that in the fourth, especially. Or did they do that in the fourth? I'm not sure. I know they turn the ball over a lot, but Dak is throwing the ball 57 times. In what world do you think Dak Prescott should be throwing the ball 57 times? The man can. This is what he does. Okay, he has the ball off. Let Zeke eat. I know that it wasn't working for him, but jeez, I don't know about 57 times. I don't know about that. Okay, we're back with the Packers Saints. I had a little technical difficulty there. Okay, so looking at Packers Saints, Aaron Rodgers is a beast. I'll say that right now. I mean, this team, this is the lowest they've scored this week against the Saints. Okay, the Saints defense that honestly isn't that great, but still, a Saints defense, the lowest they scored is 37 this week. They average more than 37 points a game. Highest scoring offense in the NFL. When you have Aaron Rodgers at quarterback, that's what happens. Okay, he shreds through defenses, and they are going to play a game where they're going to challenge you and say, hey, we're going to score at least 4 touchdowns today. If our defense stops you once or twice, you're probably not going to beat us. That's really the game they play. And it seems like the whole NFL is moving towards that. I mean, I am a big fan of defense, so it kind of is a little tough. I mean, obviously, we don't like seeing games. It's like 9-12, like we used to see with the Seahawks and stuff. But, I mean, some people do. Some people like that. But I like a competitive game, right? And I guess it is competitive now, but it seems like teams are scoring 30-plus every time. And it's who can score more, right? And the Packers are damn good at it. Allen Lazard coming out of the blue. I mean, not really out of the blue. He's a beast at Iowa State. He's 6'4", 6'5", something like that, and fast as hell. Okay, great weapon for Aaron Rodgers, especially when Devontae Adams isn't there. Kamara can't do it all. And, it's a tough loss. It's a tough loss for the Saints. They can't turn the ball over in the fourth. 37-30. Packers are looking like a real, real, real good team in the North. Okay. Ooh, we had the Chiefs-Ravens, which honestly was such a surprising game for me. Before this week, if you asked me who the best team in the NFL was, I'd tell you it was Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. 100%. No BS. Come out of my mouth as soon as you finish your sentence, right? You said, who's the best? Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. That's all you had to say. And now I don't really believe that so much, It's a little tough because after that game, Mahomes, that's all I have to say. Pat Mahomes. He made the Ravens look like trash. Okay, he made everybody else's team look like. After they struggled against the Chargers, people were doubting them, right? Came out against the Ravens, which is the possible, AFC Championship preview, honestly. I mean, I think they're probably still the 2 best teams. Steelers are up there, too. Titans are up there, but it's just like, I thought the Ravens would have a better showing than this. And the thing is that Chiefs defense played so well. They gave up 13 points to Lamar Jackson. 7 of those were on special teams, right? That true Chiefs defense only gave up 13 points. And if you can hold a team to 13 points with Pat Mahomes on you and your team, game's over. You don't even have to. It's over. Pat Mahomes is scoring more than 13 a game. I don't think there's ever been a game he scored less than 13, ever. And if the Chiefs defense can keep doing that, they're going to be in great position. I mean, Lamar and the Ravens, they got to look back and be like, okay, what are we going to do? I mean, I'm not sure if this 3 running back system is working for the Ravens, but they need to get their weapons in order because the Chiefs know exactly what they're doing. Pat Mahomes, this stat, 5 receivers with 60 yards over. 5. So that's 300 plus yards, right? 5 receivers, 60 yards, sharing the ball, shredding that Ravens defense. I mean, they couldn't cover anybody. Okay, so we're going to look at NFL power rankings now. I mean, looking at from 32 to 1, and I'm going to give you my input on what I think about the picks, if they should be higher, lower, basics. You already know what's going on. The New York Jets have to. We're okay. The New York Jets are at the bottom. I mean, if there was any other team at the bottom, that'd be disrespectful. I feel for you, Jets fans. I understand what it's like to be at the bottom of these power rankings, but Jesus Christ, they are bad. I mean, like I said earlier, Clemson might be able to beat them. I mean, that's a little harsh, but Sam Darnold is getting his career wasted there. I mean, there's no doubt about it. The Giants is a little unfair. I mean, Saquon going out, you can't prepare for that. I mean, I'm not sure if anybody really thought they were going to compete for the NFC East this year. I think that was another rebuilding year for the Giants. He was going to have so many yards this year. I promise you that. But now you got Daniel Jones trying to take a trash team and just win a couple games, really. That's all they're trying to do. I agree with that at 31. I think that's the easy 2 bottom teams. Okay, next we've got the Cincinnati Bengals. After that tie, so they tied the Eagles, right? It's hard for me because I know they're not that good, but I feel like the Bengals have a higher, I feel like the Bengals should be a little higher. I don't think they're 30 worthy, okay? I'm looking at this list and I'm like, maybe with how it looks right now, you look at a team like the Broncos, right? They don't have a quarterback. The Bengals have a quarterback. And whenever I look at an NFL team, is that you got to look at if they have a franchise quarterback. It's the first question. If a team's going to be good in the NFL, make the playoffs, you have to have what is a franchise quarterback, okay? Jeff Driscoll's not a franchise quarterback, okay? Joe Burrow is. Most likely. I mean, that's what I've seen from him. I think that he could be really, really good. I think that's a little low, a little disrespectful to Joe, even though, I mean, NFL has been pushing Joe down our throats. So it's a little surprising. Next, we got the Carolina Panthers at 29. Okay. So I'm looking at this, and I don't know. I think that they should be a little higher. I think that's a little disrespectful for a team that just got a win. At 1-2, they're saying that they're the 4th worst team. I think there's a lot of teams that probably could be a little bit are on the same page on the same par as the Carolina Panthers, especially after getting a win this week. I think that's a little harsh, especially. And the Chargers played the Chiefs well. I mean, I think that was a blunder for them, but it's hard for me to be like, oh, the Panthers are awful. I mean, I know they're not a great team, and I know they're going to get beat up this year, but I don't know if 29 is appropriate. Denver. Okay, right now, power rankings-wise, Denver should be below. I think Denver 28 is, I mean, it's a team that could have a lot of potential, yes, like when they're healthy, but right now they're not healthy, and Denver honestly could be a little lower than this. They could be in the 29 to 30 range, I think. They're not playing good football right now, and their team is hurt. The Jaguars, Gardner Minshew's underperforming. I don't think that he's a franchise quarterback. I think that in that division, that defense has to be better against the offenses that are in it, and it's just not. So I think that's pretty fair, honestly. The Atlanta Falcons at 26. Okay, I think the Falcons they could be higher, a lot higher than this, because, I mean, maybe it's fair because they're choking that they're at 26, but I think they should be a little higher because maybe like 3-4 plays difference. This team's 2-1, and people are like, "Oh, the Falcons beat the Cowboys," the Falcons beat the Bears. I think that this is a little disrespectful to the Falcons. Next, we got the Washington football team, and that is crazy to me. I mean, is it really possible that the Washington football team is better than the Falcons? I don't think so. I think after what we just talked about, there's no way. There's no way. No way. They need to be lower. I mean, they beat the Eagles, and people are like, oh, but come on, let's be honest. Eagles aren't looking too good this year. The Dolphins. The Dolphins are moving up, in my opinion. I think they should be. They could be a team that could surprise a lot of people. Fitz is playing well, especially after his last game. I mean, it was the Jags, yes, but playing well. I think that this is pretty fair. I think they could be moving up soon, though. The Detroit Lions. The Lions at 23, I think that's fair because, I mean, they could be lower just because they're so inconsistent. I mean, you see them, but it's a hard team to gauge because you look at it, the only teams they've lost to are undefeated teams. And they went and beat an undefeated team this week in the Cardinals. So you're like, I mean, is it the same old Lions? Probably. But who knows? Who knows? Who knows? The Eagles at 22. No, get them down. They need to be way farther down. They are not a good team. The fact that they have, I think the Dolphins are a better team than the Eagles. I mean, come on. The Vikings at 0-3. I think this is fair. I think it's fair to not put them at the very bottom because the Vikings have a lot of potential to be good, and they have good coaching. They've had a good defensive scheme for a long time, but 0-3. It's a tough start for them. The Houston Texans at 20. Another 0-3 team. This team, honestly, you could put them higher up. I think that it's unfair that the teams they've faced right now, Deshaun Watson can't do it all. Let's just say that. Especially when the owners and the GMs and all the front office guys are trading away his weapons. I mean, that's interesting moves. Los Angeles Chargers sitting at number 19. See, I like this. I like this place for them because I think that they can be a really good defense. I think that it's very possible for them to be one of the highest tier defenses. And if Herbert can get it going with Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, I believe, get it done. I think they can get it done. Austin Eckler, there's a lot of good guys on that team. Next, we have the Cleveland Browns at 18. I think that's honestly a facade. It's all cap because there's no way this Cleveland Browns team is that good. I mean, they beat the Washington football team this week. I don't believe that. I think that they could be farther down. The Dallas Cowboys. See, I slept on the Cowboys a little bit. I think that them playing well against the Seahawks, which is probably one of the best teams in the NFC, I think that they're better than 17, honestly. I think I'd put them higher. The Indianapolis Colts, I like them. I think they could be a real good sleeper team this year. Phillip Rivers is looking pretty damn good in the Colts jersey. That's all I got to say. Next, we got the Las Vegas Raiders. Okay. This team is interesting. I mean, I think that the Gruden plan is coming together. Derek Carr needs to play a little bit better, I think. But other than that, put Josh Jacobs, give him the ball. That's a pretty good team. I think 15 is pretty fair for them. Chicago Bears, they're doing them dirty. They put them at 14. I mean, see, as much as I think the Chicago Bears are not going to be that good, and I think there's a lot of people that are like, Chicago Bears, I mean, they beat not that great of teams and barely beat them. You got to give a 3-0 team more respect than that. With the comebacks they've had and Nick Foles coming, I mean, it's not like I don't like the Bears usually. I mean, but you got to give them more credit than that. You got to. Next, we have the Arizona Cardinals. I think that's kind of unfair. They lost to the Lions, so I think they should be a little higher up, honestly. I mean, higher up. Sorry, not higher up. Lower, honestly. Because saying that the Cardinals are better than the Bears, actually, I don't know. I think that's fair. The Cardinals have a lot more promise than the Bears, I'll tell you that. Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 12. I think they could be higher up. They've played well since that first week. Tom Brady's getting it together. I mean, he's learning a new system, everything about that, and especially without having with COVID, you don't have enough to learn all the players. I think he's easing into that offense. I think he'll be pretty damn good, though. San Francisco 49ers at 11. Okay. The Niners. Yes, they've dropped, I think, because of their injuries. But if they weren't injured, they'd be so good. And they just need to get those guys back, and I think they're going to be a really good team. They still beat the Giants by so much with their backups, right? New Orleans Saints at 10. I think they should be lower. I mean, 1 and 2 is just, it's not looking good for the Saints. Let's just say that. It's not looking that good. They need to do better. Drew Brees needs to play better. The Patriots at 9. I think that's very fair. Them losing to the Seahawks, I think that's a fair place for them because I think they're still a really good team. I think that the Patriots-Seahawks game was some of the best two teams of football going at each other, so I don't blame them for losing to that team. I mean, the Rams, I don't know if I believe in the Rams. Plain and simple. I think the Patriots are better than the Rams. So I would put the Patriots higher than the Rams. I think that they should probably swap 8 and 9. 7, we got Pittsburgh Steelers. I think this is fair. For some reason, the Steelers always seem to be like a really good team in the beginning of the year, and I think people doubt Ben sometimes. Like, oh, is he too old? Or they don't believe in this new James Conner guy, even though he had a crazy year last year. I think that they're doing really well over there. I think they honestly could be higher because I think the Tennessee Titans team is right after that. And I think that the Steelers are a better team than the Titans, possibly. Derrick Henry just carries that team too much, I think. And I'm not exactly sure if Ryan Tannehill is going to get it done. I mean, he's done his job so far. He has. But if you give me Big Ben or Ryan Tannehill, I'm going to take Big Ben every time. Buffalo Bills. See, this is what I like to see. I think that this is a great spot for them. Number 5. Josh Allen is playing like a king, okay? MVP caliber season. Josh Allen leading this Buffalo Bills team where the running game is honestly struggling. Not struggling a little bit, but it's not as good as it used to be. And he's making sure that this team is getting wins, especially against a tough Rams defense. I like that. Green Bay Packers at 4. I think, now looking at the top teams, I think you should put the Packers higher than the Ravens. After last week, I think the Ravens, after that showing, I think that the Packers deserve to be at number 2. With their scoring offense, yeah, I think that's unfair. I think you swap 4 and 2 because the Baltimore Ravens, I'm looking up, is number 2. I think that it's unfair to put the Packers that low, especially after they just score. Seattle Seahawks at 3, I think, is very, very good. Seahawks are a great team. They're going to be playing in the NFC Championship. I don't have a doubt. I think that Seattle Seahawks team is so good with Russell Wilson there. So then we have the Baltimore Ravens at 2, which I obviously just told you. I think they should be at 4. It's just that game against the Chiefs. They looked a lot worse than a lot of people thought they would go out. So, and number 1, the king of football, Pat Mahomes, signs the huge deal, the moneymaker. Okay, he's playing great football. He just beat the Ravens, smacked them actually. So that's what we have. Now we have our next segment. After our power rankings, we have got a little segment I want to do about sneaky good teams that I think that could be really good, that maybe don't have the best record right now. And Texans. The first one's going to be the Texans. I mean, 0-3. I know statistically 0-3 teams don't make the playoffs. That's just majority of them don't make the playoffs. Okay, it's really hard. But Texans have Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson's a great quarterback. They have good defense. I think they're going to turn around. They've had a really tough first 3 weeks. The Colts, I think, are going to surprise a lot of people in the AFC. They're a very, very good team. Phillip Rivers is exactly what they needed. That defense is elite. I think they're doing really, really good things up there in Indianapolis. Next, we've got the Dolphins. So the Dolphins are like my sleeper, okay? We got Fitzmagic, okay? I'm waiting for Tua to take the reins, but right now I'm rocking with Fitz, okay? I'm loving to see what Fitzmagic can do for the Dolphins. They're playing fun football. They're playing good football. last game at least, and they played two tough teams for the first 2 weeks. And they honestly, I don't want to say blew out the Jaguars, but they put a licking on them. Okay, so that's a team to watch out for. Okay, now we're moving on to our my picks for teams that I think are fakers or that are overrated, right? And I want to hear about what y'all have to say. Again, like I want to hear what y'all have to say about these teams, okay? First team, I have the Bears. 3-0. I get it, but they barely scraped by those wins. They're a drop pass by DeAndre Swift away from being 2-1, and a Falcons choke away from being 1-2, right? I don't think the Bears are going to last, especially in the NFC North where they're going to have to play the Packers twice. I don't believe in it. I don't believe in that. The Saints, I mean, people have them really high still. I'm not sure. I think that Saints defense has regressed, and I think that them not having Michael Thomas is huge. They only have Kamara now, it seems. So they've got to clear that up, okay? The Raiders. I know a lot of people are liking the Raiders right now. They just lose to the Patriots, but still a lot of people are hyped up on them, especially after they went 2-0. It's hard to look at these teams that have bad organizations and be like, okay, they're going to be a good team. I think that's the hardest thing for me is that if they're going to keep this up. And I just don't think the Raiders will be able to keep it up this season. Okay, so now I want to talk about a little bit about like NFL news or like what's going on in the NFL. And one of the biggest things that I've seen just watching football, right, is that the scoring numbers are insane. I want to hear about what y'all have to say about this, but is that we don't care about defense anymore in the NFL? I mean, the only times you see low scoring numbers put up is when you're playing the Jets, and it's just I don't like this style of football as much. I mean, I know a lot of people love to see touchdowns. I mean, it's like in baseball. You want to see the home run. But I loved seeing interceptions, personally. I think a pick six is one of the most exciting things to watch football. I want to see fumbles. I want to see sacks. I want to see the quarterback hit. I want to see big hits. That's what I want to see. I like watching good defense. Okay? And I know that Pat Mahomes can throw the ball. I know Aaron Rodgers can throw the ball. But I want to see a little bit of pushback. It seems like everybody just letting everybody get in the end zone. I mean, in the first 2 weeks of the NFL, they had the most scoring ever in any NFL season in the StatCast era ever. Most points. Is that because of COVID? The defenses can't get it together? Or, I don't know, but why are the offenses so good? I think that it's just the way that football is moving right now. I think that soon enough people will start to, really put more pressure on defense because of all these big scorers. But right now, it seems like the meta is to just go offense, 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 get all the weapons you can on offense. Because defense doesn't seem to matter that much. Next, we got to talk about Corona. The Titans, oof. Said here at least 9 members of the Tennessee Titans have produced confirmed positive tests. Okay, they played the Vikings. Both of them got to be, it looks like they're taking their bye this week, I believe. And, I mean, we kind of expected this. I mean, I think that if you went into the season thinking that's not going to happen, there's no way. I mean, there's so many facility guys. It's not just the players. Like, the players have the most lockdown, right? It's the assistant coach. It's the O-line coach. The O-line's assistant coach that goes home and goes sees his friends, comes back to work and gets the whole O-line, and the whole O-line gets everybody else, right? Especially the D-line and O-line guys, they're in their face the whole game. If one of those guys has it, the rest of them are going to get it. I guarantee you that. So I think that this was bound to happen, but we'll see how the NFL handles this. Hopefully he can get it done swiftly. And we'll be back watching normal football. Next, you have Trubisky versus Foles. Okay. This is one of the biggest storylines of the week, so I got to talk about it. I mean, Nick Foles looked like so good. So good. 3 touchdowns. It sucks to be Mitch Trubisky right now. You're 2-0. You're about to lose. I mean, you're not doing too well in this game, right? They pull you. Nick Foles says, I got it, coach. Put me in. He comes in, tosses 3 tutties. Mitch Trubisky's not getting that job back for the rest of the year. Matt Nagy looked for any opportunity to take Mitch Trubisky out, and he did it. And I think that this is the decision they should have made from the beginning of the year. I mean, why not let Trubisky grow another year? Why not? What is the harm in that? But they said they're sticking with Trubisky. I mean, now it makes him look even worse, right? So Foles is going to be the starter. I mean, it's just tough. I mean, you took out a guy that's 2-0. I mean, Tom Brady loses a game. He's 2-1. You take him out. I mean, I'm not comparing. I mean, I guess I am a little bit, but Mitch Trubisky's nowhere near Tom Brady. But what I'm saying is that the quarterback loses one game and you're done with him. That's what the Bears just did. So we'll see how that works out for him. You got to be a pretty hated quarterback in the organization, or not trusted quarterback in the organization, for them to pull you after 2-0. I know he was about to lose that game, but at most 2-1, still a better start than a lot of Chicago Bears fans thought they'd start out, I think. So now we can go on to our Week 4 predictions, and I can tell you what I think about the upcoming matchups. So first, Broncos-Jets. I mean, this is the easiest pick of the week. You just have to pick against the Jets. You have to. There's no way that you pick the Jets in any team on any game until they win a game. No way. They're the worst team in football. Broncos are injured, but they're still going to get it done. Jeff Driscoll is going to look like a god if he starts. I don't know if the other quarterback's going to start or not, but Broncos should win this game easily. Next, we got Saints and Lions. I think this is a bounce-back week for the Saints. The Lions came off a big win to the Cardinals, but this is going to be another one of those weeks that Matt Patricia is not going to know what to do. Okay, I'll tell you that right now. Saints are going to run Alvin Kamara up and down that Lions defense. We saw it with the Packers. They ran the ball just through the Lions defense over and back. So that's what's going to happen. And Saints are going to take that one pretty easily, I think. Next, we got Colts, Bears. I think that Colts defense is going to make it really hard for the Bears to play good offense. Even with Nick Foles, I mean, this is a really hard game to pick, because you don't know. After only seeing what Nick Foles did in the second half, you're like, if it's only second half Nick Foles, the Bears team could very well win this game. But we will see. I think the Colts are still a better team. I think Philip Rivers. I trust Philip Rivers more than I do Nick Foles. So. Okay, so next game we've got is the Jags at the Bengals. Honestly, I like the Bengals here. I think that's a little bit of an upset pick, but I'm going to take Joe Burrow. I think Joe Burrow gets his first dub today, baby. I think that's what's going to happen, and I'm ready for it. I want to see Joe Burrow be successful in this league. I want to see the Bengals be good. That's what I'm going to take. Next game, Browns-Cowboys. I think that's an easy one. Cowboys are going to take that. I mean, Baker is just... I don't believe in Baker. I think Dak is going to throw through that team. I think it'll be pretty easy. Seahawks, Dolphins. Dolphins with another tough matchup. Seahawks are going to run away with that. I mean, Seahawks are a really, really good team. Probably the second best team in the NFC, I'd say. Yeah, that's not even going to be a competition for them. Next, we got Chargers, Bucks. Taking the Bucks. Chargers are going to skid a little bit, which is a little tough after their first week win, but just don't see Tom Brady losing to the Chargers. I don't. Next, we've got the Ravens versus the Washington football team, and I think that this is an easy pick. I'm going to take the Washington. You thought. We're taking the Ravens. I mean, come on. Washington football team just has no chance. Let's go, Ravens. Cardinals, Panthers. Cardinals get their week. They come back. They're going to be good. And we're going to see the Cardinals. Kyler Murray's going to execute like he was supposed to last week. They're going to beat the Panthers. I don't believe in Teddy Two Glove. And we'll see the Cardinals should win pretty easily there. Vikings, Texans. 2 0-3 teams that people thought were going to be a lot better than they are. It's an interesting matchup for the week. But I think Deshaun Watson is better than Kirk Mobile. I think that's really what it comes down to, is Deshaun Watson is going to score on that Vikings defense that has not been able to stop anybody. I'm taking the Texans. Giants versus the Rams. This should be a pretty easy one for the Rams. Giants are pretty terrible. Ooh, tough picks. Patriots, Chiefs. This one I'm excited about because we get Bill Belichick versus Andy Reid. I mean, that's always going to be good. But Pat Mahomes is Pat Mahomes. I know Cam Newton is looking pretty good over there in a Patriots jersey, but I just don't think there's any way that I take Cam over Pat. I just got to take Mahomes. I got to take Andy Reid. I'm going to take Andy Reid and Mahomes. Even though, yeah, I'm taking Andy Reid and Mahomes. I have to. Next, we got Bills Raiders. I think this is a game that the Raiders could upset. And it's in Las. You know what? I'm taking the Raiders. I know I've been saying that Josh Allen, but I think Josh Allen is going to simmer down maybe a little bit. We'll see. But I think I'm going to have the Raiders and they upset a little bit here. I think that's what's going to happen. I think Josh Jacobs, they run the rock with Josh Jacobs. They could have a really good shot at winning the game. I'm taking the Raiders. Eagles, Niners. I mean, the Niners are going to run away with that game. Let's be honest. I think even with this not having the starters, Carson Wentz can't put it together. He really can't right now. So that's an easy one for me. Niners. Steelers, Titans. Okay. Now we're talking here. Steelers. It's got to be Steelers because Big Ben over Ryan Tannehill. I said it earlier. I got to say it again. I got to stick with that. Derrick Henry is probably going to have a day, even against a stiff Pittsburgh defense, which is so good. But the Steelers are just going to lock. I think the Steelers defense will lock up Ryan Tannehill more than the Titans defense will lock up Big Ben. I think that's what it's going to come down. Next up, we got the Falcons at the Packers. That should be a pretty easy one for the Packers. It's going to be a tough life for Falcons fans going 0-4 whenever they could be 2-2, but the Packers are going to take that one. And lastly, let's just go over the interesting matchups. I mean, I want to talk to y'all about the games that I'm excited to watch in the NFL, and I want to hear about what games y'all are excited to watch. So let me know. Steelers-Titans is the first one I got written down here. We got two AFC 3-0 teams. I think this is probably the biggest matchup of the week. We're going to see, which team in the AFC is a little bit better and which team is going to go for that home field advantage in the AFC. That's what I'm excited about to see. And we've got, this is a game that we could definitely see again in the playoffs. It's going to be run heavy. James Conner and Derrick Henry, for sure. And can Tannehill do enough? That's the real question. I think the biggest question is, can Tannehill do enough to beat the Steelers? We'll see. Chargers, Bucks, I think will be an interesting game. Because honestly, on paper, it's not the most intriguing. You're like, oh, the Bucks are going to run away with this, but the Chargers defense is pretty good. They might give Tom some problems. That's all I'm saying. Herbert gets another game under the belt. If he can be more consistent, the game could be closer than people think. Patriots, Chiefs, obviously, because Cam versus Mahomes, two great quarterbacks. Belichick versus Andy Reid, two even better coaches. I mean, it's quality football. That game's going to be close. We all know that. Come on. Belichick's not going to let that game get away from him. Bills, Raiders. Honestly, two teams that historically aren't very good. And it's going to be interesting to see them play each other as two pretty good teams. That's what I'm excited about. I love seeing historically bad organizations play well, especially an organization like the Bills. Bills Mafia loves them so much. I love to see that. Have all the respect for the Bills Mafia, and now they have a good quarterback in Josh Allen. It's great to see. Josh Allen, I think, and Derek Carr is going to be an interesting game, but I think the Raiders could take it. That's why I'm going to take the upset. I think the Raiders could take it. Yep. Well, thank y'all for listening. I'll see y'all next week. I'm out.